A population of 130 crore, a massive logistical challenge, vaccine hesitancy. But none of these challenges have been big enough to keep the world's largest vaccination drive from being realized. India has proved this with its 1 billion vaccine milestone.
वैक्सीनेशन की भारत की तेज गति से प्रगति दुनिया के लिए एक विश्वास पैदा करेगी कि अगर टूरिस्ट के रूप में भारत जाना है, किसी कामकाज से भारत जाना है, तो भारत व्यापक रूप से वैक्सीनेटेड है और इसलिए वैक्सीनेटेड कंट्री के नाते भी दुनिया के टूरिस्टों के लिए एक आश्वस्त व्यवस्था ये भी उनके लिए कारण बन सकता है.
India's journey to surpassing the 1 billion mark was not an easy target, particularly taking into account challenges like gradual vaccine supply in the initial stages after vaccine production and the deadly second wave of the virus. Politics too was at its peak even as India aimed at ramping up vaccination in the face of the pandemic. But India went all out with all of its resources, from vaccine supplies upped to about 50 million, to reducing the time gap in 2 doses and deploying cold chain points, walk-in coolers and solar refrigerators. Every step was taken to reach this milestone today. Moreover, this achievement is like no other in the world of medicine, considering that all this while, India continues to aid neighbours and friendly nations with its Vaccine Maitri initiative. The achievement is no less than a festival for India to celebrate this global milestone. Bureau Report, Republic TV.
Well, good morning to all of you. I'm going to go across to Dr. Keval Handa first. Good morning, Dr. Handa. You have headed one of the biggest banks as well as one of the biggest pharmaceutical companies, I beg your pardon, in this country now. It is a milestone of 100 million and 1 billion rather that we are celebrating today. In your experience, how difficult and challenging would this have been? Because look at the numbers that we've managed to inoculate in just a period of 9 months. It's a record that any country would be envious of.
So thank you for having me here. In May, when there were only 2 million doses administered, there was a lot of skepticism that we'll be able to dose the Indian population. And our Prime Minister came out and said, we will vaccinate everybody by December 21. Now, I personally was a little worried about it. How are you going to do it? I did a little maths and I added a lot of companies there. This is Covishield vaccine, Serum Institute, Bharat Biotech, Johnson, ZS Cadila, Sputnik and all that. And I said, yes, probably. But we just had 2 companies, both Indian companies serving the Indian nation. That's a proud moment for all of us. The others really didn't matter. 88% of the vaccination is done by Serum Institute and 11% or 12% is done by the Bharat. But look at the challenge we had. It's just not the availability of the vaccines, but also to counter the political opposition to the vaccine, the delivery of the vaccines, the management of the vaccines. There were these big challenges. And I think the biggest role played in this is the manufacturers, the first line workers, the healthcare workers, and the co-win, which is the management process of knowing how many are administered, how many are not. I think that process helped us to reach here. But to achieve by 2021 is another challenge. From current 230 million, we need to go to 330 million vaccines per month. That is a challenge. I think I will leave it here, and it's possible to do it. How we will do it, it's less here in later on.
Oh yes, Dr. Handa, it's been a journey that everyone has been talking about, of course, these past 9 months, with the situation changing constantly. Quickly I'll go across to Ananya, who's joining us from the RML hospital, and then I'll go across to Dr. Swati as well. But Ananya, lots planned from where you're reporting. The Prime Minister will also be visiting the RML hospital. What's lined up for him?
Yes, remember that Prime Minister is all set to visit the RML hospital. RML has been a vaccination focus since the vaccination process had started. See, I'll show you the board here. We started off with 25 crores, 50 crores, 75 crores, and now we are at 100. We are about to reach the 100 crore mark. And remember that this 100 crore mark is not a very small thing, because remember, the population of many countries can be included in 100 crore mark, while India is going to achieve this. If I'll show you with me, I'll ask my VJ to show you inside the RML hospital, which is prepping up for the PM's visit. In order, remember, the Prime Minister would be visiting the RML hospital in order to celebrate, I'll say, this big moment that India is achieving. And as Dr. Handa was pointing out, it was mostly of Indian manufacturers who had been played a major focus in this whole vaccination process, be it Bharat Biotech, be it Serum Institute of India. They have been working tirelessly. In fact, the first-line workers also have been working tirelessly in order to make this successful. And it is a kind of a success for, it's a teamwork between the manufacturers, the doctors, the first-line workers. In fact, everybody has been on their toes since this COVID-19 pandemic had hit. And these were the people who, even the COVID-19 pandemic could not hit them, could not hit their strength. And this is how we celebrate that 100 crore mark is about to be crossed. And India would be the first, one of the biggest nations who would be achieving this target. Remember that the 100 crore mark includes, if I remind you that the population of Canada is around 4 crores and around a lot of countries would come down. A population of a lot of countries can be vaccinated in the 100 crore mark. But this time we are achieving this in India. And this is kind of a proud moment, not only for us, not only for the general public, but also for the doctors, for the first-line workers, for all of the people involved in this whole vaccination process, be it the scientists who've been working tirelessly in order to churn out a formula for this vaccine, to the last point contact who would be delivering these vaccines to the vaccination centers. Each and every person had a major and a key role to play, be it big, be it small. Everybody had a very, very big role in order to make this mark possible, to make this successful. In fact, back to you.
Absolutely. Stay with us. Anane, as well as Madhurima, we're going to come to you in just a bit, but let me go across to Dr. Swati Maheshwari now. Good morning, Dr. Maheshwari. Dr. Maheshwari, you know, our polio vaccine drive, of course, has been celebrated across the world. We've received awards from the UN for it, but we had, you know, a large number of years to deal with this. What we've seen with COVID-19 has been, you know, completely different. It was a different scenario from manufacturing, first, of course, from the research, then to manufacturing, then to transportation, then, you know, to vaccine hesitancy, and then, of course, the last mile delivery. So it had a gamut of things that we've, you know, in a sense, gone over and now achieved.
Absolutely. See, looking at polio vaccine, the entire span of time that we had to, to deliver the polio vaccine was, not limited. We could go at our own pace and deliver the vaccines, kill the hesitancy, take our own sweet time. But when it came to corona, we didn't have time at all. We were running against it all the time. And, the sheer numbers that were coming, be it the second wave, the third wave in the other countries, whatever, it was so kind of devastating that we didn't have the time to actually think and brood and see that, okay, this is the time we'll roll out these vaccines. We might wait for another 1 year for the trials to complete and all. No, we didn't have all that options at all. So we had to go with all the guns the moment we saw that the vaccine was ready. And I must say that, a lot of the countries might argue that it can only be India and China which can boast of this landmark. But look at not just the numbers, the grit, the determination of the government, the people, and the rising of our scientists who made it sure that we were not at the mercy of the other nations. So I think we have sent a very clear signal across to the world that we are not going to sit and watch other hens lay eggs. We can lay our own eggs, and that's what we have shown it to the world, that, India is one of the superpowers, whether you like it or not like it, we are there. And not just about vaccines. We have taken so many tough decisions, I think, very hard decisions in the last 9 and 8 8 months, where we have decided about whether to halt the export of the vaccines, whether to change the doses of the vaccines, the duration of the vaccines, whether to give tit and tat to UK government.
All right, we are going back to the other big story we are tracking this morning, 1 billion doses, and that is the landmark that we are looking at. We're just 72,000 short of it, and we've been saying since the morning that the numbers are changing so rapidly that it becomes so difficult for us to keep track of it. But we're just 71,000 shy of it right now, and it has been a milestone that any country in the world has found it would have found it extremely difficult and challenging to essentially achieve. It is a milestone that we as Indians need to be proud of, because it involved a whole gamut of things to reach today. It was a vaccination process that was started in January of this year, and from then to now, we have inoculated about 33% of our adult population with both doses. A large number of our population has been inoculated with one dose at least. And we are, in fact, very close to achieving that milestone of inoculating all our adult population with both doses by December. I'm going to go back right now to our guests who've been very patient with us. They've been sitting with us in our studios. Dr. Swati Maheshwari and Dr. Keval Handa, both of you. Dr. Maheshwari, if I could come back to you. I'm afraid we had to interrupt you over there for that breaking that was coming in. But Dr. Maheshwari, you were talking us through, how this is something that we are extremely proud of. And, from your perspective, what are the challenges that lie ahead? Because there is going to be the challenge of inoculating a large number of our children also now.
Definitely. I think we have crossed one milestone, but we have many more to still cross. And the most daunting task that we have at hand right now is to deliver the second dose to those people, 50% of the adult population that have received only single dose till now. So, till now in last 8 months, we have covered 1 crore doses, but the next 1 crore of doses has to be covered in another 2 or 3 months. So which itself, says how much of logistics and other kind of activities that need to go together so that we are able to deliver. And as you mentioned very rightly, children are our next target audience, which needs to receive the vaccines now, because the vaccines have already been approved for children, and now the entire, the effort has to go into rolling out for them so that, they are able to receive the vaccine, and they are into the entire security arena that we're trying to create against corona. And more than that, killing the negative narrative that has been created around the vaccine, because you saw it and we all have witnessed those countless debates that have gone across where, the efficacy and the safety of the vaccine has been questioned time and again. And when we did it for adults, I think the same is going to happen for the children as well. As soon as the rollout for children will start, there'll be these rumor mongers who would say that children don't need the vaccine, they should not receive the vaccine, it's not safe for them, and all that will start again. And it becomes a huge challenge to actually bring people from hesitancy to acceptance. But I'm sure the Indian population would soon realize, we do realize, that vaccine has been our biggest saver till now, and the adult population has been vaccinated. And that's why we have been able to ward off the third wave, which was, every scientist was saying that we are bound to get the third wave, and by August end or October, September, we would be sitting in the third wave. But these vaccination numbers have helped us push this third wave. And if we vaccinate our children at the same pace and give them the vaccine, then obviously, next year would be a very peaceful year. That's what I believe, until unless there's a new variant that comes in and evades the immune mechanism that is being raised by these vaccines and also by our natural immunity. So that threat is always there, but we definitely need to follow the COVID appropriate behavior. And at the same time, we need to kind of help others get the vaccine. So we need to motivate others. And we all have seen those heartwarming pictures of our healthcare workers who have crossed rivers, who have crossed mountains, who have risked their lives, crossed all those those difficult geographical terrains just to make sure that each and every person in India gets the vaccine. So I think we must congratulate each and every healthcare worker who's sitting at the periphery, doing their best to deliver these vaccines, and the government's grit and determination. But yes, definitely there's a daunting task lying ahead. We need to vaccinate more and more people and children, but I'm sure we are going at a good pace, and our strategy seems to be very good at this point of time. And if we keep on doing what we are doing right now and just put in a little more effort, I think we should be able to do what nobody had expected. And the world is watching us as to how we have actually dealt with the corona pandemic, be it vaccines, be it rolling out the medicines, be it, creating more infrastructure, because we were very weak at infrastructure when we started out at the pandemic. Our health infrastructure was at the fringes. But look at now, we have already put up, neonatal ICUs, we are putting up ventilators for children, we are preparing for each and every eventuality that can come. But yes, we all need to get together our acts. So people, have to support the government as well. When the government is putting in so much effort and making sure that the infrastructure is there, the vaccines are there, then we should also play our part and, not help spread the virus. In fact, we should help curbing it, and we should motivate other people and also follow COVID appropriate behavior. And I'm sure we'll be standing at a very, very good position.
Dr. Swati pointed out we've achieved what was unthinkable when we first started our vaccination drive 9 months ago. So we've come a long, long way.